Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got a stack of research today that circles around a problem I think literally everyone in the business world has banged their head against at least once.
Oh, absolutely. It's the universal headache.
It's the data bottleneck. And I don't mean we don't have the data. I mean the exact opposite.
Right, you're drowning in data.
You're drowning in it. It's sitting right there in your massive enterprise database. It exists. You know the answer to your question is inside that black box.
It's so close, but you can't touch it.
Exactly. Because to get it, you usually have to speak a very specific, unforgiving language.
SQL.
Structured query language.
And if you are a marketing manager or a CEO or, frankly, anyone who isn't a data analyst, you probably don't speak fluent SQL, so you're just stuck.
You're stuck in the ticket queue.
Yeah.
You submit a request, and you wait. 3 days maybe for a simple number. It's, the friction point where curiosity just goes to die.
Right. And that is exactly what our source material today is trying to solve. We are doing a deep dive into a tool called WrenAI.
Now, on the surface, it bills itself as an open-source GenBI agent. And the promise is, well, it's a big one. It claims to let you query any database using natural language.
Just plain English.
Just plain English. And it generates accurate SQL, charts, and insights in seconds.
And I want to pause on that word accurate, because we've seen this movie before, right? We've seen chatbots try to play data analyst, and usually it ends in disaster.
It ends with the AI just confidently making up numbers.
Exactly. So our mission today isn't just to look at the features. We need to understand how WrenAI claims to bridge that gap between a human question and a database answer without falling into that hallucination trap.
And we're going to look at their semantic layer architecture, which seems to be the secret sauce here.
It really does.
But let's start with the basics, though. The source material uses this term GenBI, Generative Business Intelligence.
Right.
We know BI dashboards, Tableau, all that. We know GenAI. What happens when you smash them together?
Well, think about traditional BI. It's inherently static. You have a dashboard someone built for you 3 months ago.
And it answers the questions they thought you would have.
Exactly. Sales by region. But if I want sales by region excluding the third quarter for only blue widgets, and that filter isn't there,
You're stuck. You're dead in the water.
that's where the generative part comes in. GenBI isn't about retrieving a pre-made chart. It's about generating the answer on the fly from scratch.
So what are the core functions here?
According to their docs, there are 3. First, obviously, is text-to-SQL.
Which is the translation layer. You type, show me the top 5 customers by lifetime value, and it writes the code to pull that from the database.
Right, but then it goes a step further with text-to-chart. And this is interesting because visualizing data is actually really hard for an AI.
How so?
Well, the AI has to understand the nature of the data. Is this a trend over time? That should be a line graph. Is it a breakdown of categories?
Then it should be a bar chart or a pie chart.
Exactly. WrenAI claims to handle this visualization step automatically, so you aren't just getting a raw table of rows and columns.
Which is crucial, because a table with 5,000 rows is basically unreadable to a human. You need that visual context.
And the third piece they mention is insights.
The narrative layer.
Yes. It provides AI-written summaries. So it reads the data it just found and explains, hey, sales are up 10%, largely because of this one region. It's trying to be a data analyst on your shoulder.
The source material has a great tagline for this, / the SQL learning curve. And the appeal of getting decision-ready context in one click is massive. But I have to play the skeptic here. I've used ChatGPT. I've pasted CSV files into it. Sometimes it's magic, but other times it hallucinates. It makes up a column that doesn't exist.
Or it just does the math wrong.
Yeah. If I'm making a business decision involving millions of dollars, mostly accurate isn't good enough.
You're absolutely right. Mostly accurate in business is just another word for wrong.
So that brings us to the most critical part of this, the semantic layer.
This is everything.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because semantic layer sounds like, buzzword bingo. What is it actually doing mechanically?
So imagine your raw database. It's messy. You might have a table called TBL Sales Final V2. The columns might have cryptic names like amped gross or amp net.
And the AI has no idea what TBL Sales Final V2 means.
None. If you let an LLM just guess at your database structure, it will fail. It might try to join 2 tables that don't relate. Or worse, it calculates revenue by summing the wrong column.
Okay, so the semantic layer is what, a map?
It's more than a map. It's a rule book. WrenAI uses something they call MDL modeling definition language.
Deal. Okay.
Think of it as a file that sits between your raw data and the AI. In this MDL file, you explicitly define your business logic.
Give me a concrete example.
Okay, gross profit. In your company, gross profit might be revenue minus cost of goods sold, but in another company, maybe they subtract shipping costs too. The AI doesn't know your specific rule.
It just guesses based on its general training data.
Right. But with the semantic layer, you define gross profit once in that MDL file. You write the formula. Now, when you ask, what was our profit last month? The AI doesn't invent a formula. It looks at the MDL, sees the definition you wrote, and applies it.
Okay, that's a huge distinction. So it creates a boundary. It tells the AI, you are allowed to write SQL, but you must use these definitions in these relationships.
Precisely. It encodes the schema, the metrics, the joins how table A connects to table B. The source material calls this governed data access. It essentially protects the AI from its own creativity.
It stops the hallucination by removing the ambiguity.
That's the goal, and this is why they call it an agent and not just a chatbot. A chatbot is just predicting the next word. An agent is interacting with a structured set of tools and rules, the MDL, to execute a task reliably.
That makes sense. It's like the difference between asking a stranger to cook you dinner versus giving a professional chef a very specific recipe card.
That's a great analogy. The chef follows the card.
So we've established the semantic layer is the safety net. But a tool like this is only useful if it can actually talk to your systems. I was looking at the compatibility list, and it seems like they're trying to cover everything.
They really are aiming for total database agnosticism.
I saw the usual suspects, BigQuery, Snowflake, but also PostgreSQL, Mycolo, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, even DuckDB and Trino. It's a long list.
And that breadth is significant. It means you don't have to move your data, which is a huge barrier in enterprise tech.
Oh, nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to migrate a petabyte of data into some new system just to try a fancy AI tool.
Right. WrenAI sits on top of what you already have.
Exactly. It's a layer, not a destination. But there's another type of compatibility that I think is even more interesting and maybe a bit more risky. It's LLM agnostic.
Meaning you can swap out the brain.
Correct. WrenAI doesn't force you to use one specific AI model. They support OpenAI's GPT series, Google Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, Bedrock, even local models through Llama.
Okay, so let's talk about the implications of that. Why would I care which model I use?
Two main reasons: privacy and performance. And they are often at odds with each other.
Explain that.
Well, imagine you're a bank. You cannot send your database schema or your questions to OpenAI's servers. It's a security violation. So you might want to use a local model like Llama 3 running on your own servers via Ollama.
That solves the privacy issue.
It does. But here's the catch. The source material has a very specific caution box about this. They explicitly state the performance of WrenAI depends significantly on the capabilities of the LLM you choose.
In other words, if you use a dumber brain, you get dumber SQL.
Bluntly, yes. Writing complex SQL handling, multiple joins, window functions, all that stuff, it requires a high level of reasoning.
A smart model.
A very smart model. If you use a smaller local model, it might struggle. It might generate syntax errors or just misunderstand the question entirely.
So there's a trade-off. You can have total privacy with a local model, but you might sacrifice accuracy. Or you use GPT-4 or Claude 3.5 Sonnet and get high accuracy, but you're sending data to the cloud.
Exactly. The documentation recommends using the most powerful model available to avoid inaccurate outputs. So for a user, this isn't a simple install and go situation.
No, you have to make a strategic decision about which brain you trust to run your BI.
That's a really important nuance. It's not magic. It's dependent on the engine you put inside it. It's weak logic in, bad query out.
Let's pivot to who is actually setting this up. We've talked about the business user asking questions, but this is an open source project. It's on GitHub, so who is building with this?
This is the builder's aspect, and honestly, this might be where the real long-term value is. WrenAI isn't just an app you log into. It has an embed via API feature.
Which means?
It means developers can take the WrenAI engine and put it inside their own software.
Okay, paint me a picture. What does that look like in the real world?
Okay, imagine you're building a logistics platform for trucking companies. Drivers and dispatchers need to know things like, where is the shipment? Or which trucks are due for maintenance?
And normally you'd have to build a dashboard with 50 different filters for them to find that info.
Right, and they'd hate using it on their phones. But with the WrenAI API, you could build a chat interface right into your driver app. The driver texts, show me my next 3 pickups.
And the app hits WrenAI, WrenAI hits the database and sends back the answer.
Exactly. The developer doesn't have to write the SQL or build the reporting engine. They just plug in WrenAI. It becomes a back-end service for conversation as an interface.
And since we're talking about developers, we have to look at the health of the project.
Yeah.
I saw they have over 14,000 stars on GitHub.
Which is a very healthy number.
But let's be real for the non-technical listener.
Mm-hmm.
Why do those stars matter to a business? Is it just vanity metrics?
No, it's actually a risk indicator. In open source, stars generally correlate with adoption and community interest. If you're a CTO deciding to use a tool, you don't want to use something with 50 stars that hasn't been updated in 2 years.
It's abandonware.
Yeah.
You don't want to bet your business on a ghost town.
Exactly. 14,000 stars means there are thousands of eyes on the code. Bugs are likely to be found and fixed. It means there's a community. The source says over 1,300 developers in their Discord who can help you if you get stuck.
It's safety in numbers.
And for an enterprise, that matters. Plus, the tech stack, TypeScript, and Python, those are the 2 most dominant languages right now. So the talent pool to customize it is huge.
That's a great point. You aren't hiring for some obscure legacy language.
Right. And since it's AGPL 3.0, it's free to inspect and modify. That transparency is crucial when you're talking about AI and data security. You can see exactly what the code is doing.
So you've got the what GenBI, the how, the semantic layer, and the who developers embedding this into apps. But I want to zoom out for a minute.
Let's do it.
If this works, I mean, if we really can just talk to our data and trust the answer, what happens to the culture of a company?
That is the big question. Because right now, data is often a weapon or a shield.
What do you mean?
Well, in a lot of organizations, there are gatekeepers. The people who know SQL hold the keys to the kingdom.
Right. If you want to know something, you have to go through them. It gives them power, but it also creates a massive bottleneck.
And it makes everyone else passive. If I have to beg for data, I'm just less likely to explore.
So tools like WrenAI are fundamentally democratizing that access.
They are trying to turn every employee into an analyst. But, and here's the friction point, will the analysts like that?
Probably not. If my whole job is writing SQL queries and a machine can do it instantly, am I obsolete?
I don't think obsolete is the right word, but the role definitely changes. The analysts don't need to be translators anymore. They need to become the architects of that semantic layer.
I see. Someone still has to define what gross profit means in that MDL file.
Exactly. The human expertise shifts from writing syntax to defining logic. The analyst ensures the model is correct, so the rest of the company can play safely within it. They become the guide, not the gatekeeper.
That's a much more valuable role, honestly.
It is, but it's a cultural shift. And for the business leaders listening, so what here is all about speed.
Speed of decision-making.
Right. If querying a massive database becomes as easy as asking a friend a question over text, if you remove that 3-day wait time, you iterate faster, you catch problems sooner, you spot trends before your competitors do.
It moves from, we'll look at that in the monthly review, to, let's check that right now.
And that real-time curiosity is what drives innovation. The aha moments don't come from static reports. They come from digging. And WrenAI is essentially handing everyone a shovel and saying, dig where you want.
But again, only if that semantic layer is solid.
Always. If the map is wrong, you're just digging holes in the wrong place faster than ever before.
Which brings us back to the core lesson. AI isn't magic. It requires structure. It requires that semantic layer to ground it in reality.
Absolutely. The future isn't just AI does everything. It's humans define the rules, AI executes the work.
Well, that is a lot to chew on. Whether you're a developer looking to build the next great data tool or a business leader tired of waiting for reports, WrenAI seems like a glimpse into where things are headed.
It's definitely a space to watch. That semantic layer concept is going to be everywhere in the next few years.
I suspect you're right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep asking questions, and hopefully you'll get your answers a little bit faster now. We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.